All right, ready for a deep dive into something kind of unexpected.
Oh, I'm always up for a deep dive. Lay it on me.
Okay, well, today we're going to be exploring those unspoken signals, the ones between men and women, especially when it comes to attraction, that kind of thing.
The mysteries of attraction. I like it.
Don't worry, this isn't some cheesy pickup artist stuff.
Okay, good. I was a little worried.
No, we're going way deeper than that. We're talking about the subconscious cues, those little things that can really make or break a connection.
Yeah, I get you. Like, is it all about body language or something else entirely?
Well, you'll have to stick around to find out. But let me just say this. We're going to uncover one specific signal that men are crazy sensitive to.
Really?
I'm talking like make or break sensitive.
Ooh, this is getting good.
Yeah, it's a signal that can either make them feel like they've hit the jackpot or send them running for the hills.
Okay, I am officially intrigued.
So let's get into it.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, first things first. Picture this, right? You meet someone new.
New person, new possibilities.
Exactly. And your brain just goes into overdrive, right? It starts making all these split-second judgments about this person.
Oh, yeah, totally. You're sizing them up, figuring out if you vibe with them.
And it's based on all these tiny little cues,
Yeah.
their posture, their eye contact, even like the way they move.
It's wild how much we process without even realizing it.
It is. Like, our first impression's really that important.
Oh, way more than you might think. There's actually been research on this that suggests those initial gut feelings, they can be pretty accurate in the long run.
No way. So, like, you can kind of tell if you're compatible with someone just from that first meeting.
Kinda, yeah. It's crazy, right?
That is pretty wild. But here's where things get really interesting. Men and women, they often zero in on different signals,
Oh, for sure. It's like we're speaking totally different languages sometimes.
which leads to a whole lot of confusion.
And missed opportunities.
Exactly. So what exactly are men picking up on that women might be missing?
You ready for this?
Hit me with it.
Okay, so men are super attuned to how women rank them.
Rank. What do you mean by that?
It's not like a literal scorecard or anything.
Okay, good.
But it's more about how a woman's actions, the things she does, both consciously and unconsciously.
Yeah.
All that stuff kind of makes a man feel like, okay, where do I stand with her?
Interesting. So it's like he's trying to figure out where he fits in her world.
Exactly. He wants to gauge how much she values him, admires him, sees him as, the catch.
The catch. That makes sense.
Yeah, and it's not just about ego or anything. It's deeper than that.
Yeah.
It's this primal need to feel chosen, desired.
That feeling of being special.
Exactly. And when a man feels like he's ranked highly, it's a huge validation.
Oh, I bet.
It boosts his confidence,
Definitely.
and makes him want to connect even more.
But what about the flip side? What if he feels like he's ranked low?
Oof, yeah, that can be pretty rough.
Yeah, I can imagine. So why are men so sensitive to this ranking thing? It seems almost like instinctual.
It probably goes way back, like to our evolutionary past.
Oh, interesting.
Think about it. Back in the day, men were always competing for resources, mates, survival stuff.
Right. Survival of the fittest and all that.
Exactly. And being seen as the best, the top dog, that was crucial.
I mean, I guess it would be.
Yeah, it was literally a matter of life or death, passing on their genes, all that jazz.
So even though we're not like hunting mammoths anymore, that ancient wiring is still kind of messing with us.
Oh, big time. Even in today's world, we're swiping on apps and stuff.
Right.
Those deep-seated instincts are still there, influencing how men react, especially when it comes to attraction.
It's like we're hardwired for it or something.
Pretty much.
That's pretty fascinating. But things are definitely way more complicated now, right? Like modern dating is a whole different beast.
Oh, tell me about.
It's like a whole new set of rules and expectations.
And that's where things get messy.
Yeah, all those mixed signals start flying around.
Exactly. Think about it. Women are often told to play it cool,
Right, don't seem too eager.
But those subtle signals of playing it cool, they can be totally misinterpreted by men who are looking for clear signs of interest, admiration.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So what a woman might think is just being chill.
A man might see as disinterest.
It's like we're speaking two completely different languages.
Exactly. And that's why understanding this ranking thing is so important.
So it's not about playing games or manipulating anyone. It's about understanding each other.
Absolutely. It's about bridging that communication gap and building a connection that's actually based on, Mutual understanding.
I like that mutual understanding. That makes a lot of sense. I bet our listeners are starting to connect the dots to their own experiences too.
I bet so. We've all been there.
But before we jump into the how-to of all this,
Yeah.
there's another layer to this ranking thing, right?
Yes.
What is it?
It's something that's often missing in modern relationships, and I think it's a big part of why we get those mixed signals.
Okay, tell me more.
It's the art of admiration.
Admiration.
Yeah.
Like openly admiring your partner.
Exactly. Think back to those old school courtship rituals, you know? The grand gestures, the men going above and beyond to woo their beloved.
Oh yeah, like serenading under the balcony, that kind of thing?
That's the one. Of course, we don't need to go full Romeo and Juliet,
Right, right.
but there's something to be said for those grand gestures.
They were all about showing your admiration, making the other person feel special.
You got it. It was about putting them on a pedestal a little bit.
So are you saying we need to go back to those over-the-top displays of affection?
Not necessarily. It's more about the underlying message. It's about making sure your partner feels seen, valued, admired.
So it's not about putting men on a pedestal literally, but understanding that they need to feel like they've earned your admiration, like they're special.
You nailed it. It's about recognizing their strengths, appreciating what makes them unique.
Showing them they've captured your attention.
Exactly, that they stand out from the crowd.
This is so interesting. I'm already thinking about all the ways this applies to my own life.
Me too. It's really making me rethink some things.
Okay, so we've talked about awareness, expression, this whole ranking signal.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we actually use this to build stronger connection?
That's the million-dollar question.
I know our listeners are dying to know.
And we've got the answers.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors.
All right, are you ready to put this knowledge into action?
I am. Let's get practical. How can we actually use this whole ranking signal idea to build those stronger connections?
Okay, so it all starts with awareness, you know?
Awareness of what?
Awareness of yourself, like really pay attention to those nonverbal signals you're sending out, especially when you're around someone you find attractive.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like, am I leaning in,
Yeah.
making eye contact, that kind of thing?
Exactly. Do you find yourself like subtly adjusting your posture, maybe playing with your hair?
Oh my gosh, yes.
These are all natural responses, right?
Totally. It's like you're trying to put your best foot forward without even thinking about it.
Exactly. But the thing is, being aware of those little things can really help you understand how you might be ranking men without even realizing it.
Okay, so step one is self-awareness. Check. What's next?
Next, it's all about learning to express admiration in a way that actually resonates with men.
Okay, but how do we do that? What does that look like in real life?
Well, for starters, it's about being genuine.
No fake compliments. Got it.
Exactly. It can be as simple as noticing something you truly admire about him. Maybe it's his sense of humor or his intelligence or the way he's so passionate about that weird hobby of his.
And then you actually tell them.
You tell him, not in a gushy, over-the-top way, but in a sincere, specific way.
So instead of just saying, you're so smart, I might say something like, I was really impressed by how you handled that situation at work. You were so calm and collected.
Perfect. You're showing him that you're paying attention, that you see him. Yeah.
And that you value those qualities.
Yes. And this goes beyond just romantic relationships, too.
Oh, that's true. Like at work or with friends.
Think about how good it feels when a friend or a colleague acknowledges your hard work or a skill you're proud of.
It makes you want to do even better.
Exactly. That's the power of understanding these signals. It's about building stronger connections based on mutual respect and appreciation in all areas of our lives.
Okay, so we've got awareness, we've got expression.
Yeah.
But let's be real, this stuff isn't always easy. Any tips for navigating those tricky situations?
One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying too hard.
Yeah, I can see that. Like forcing it.
Authenticity is key. If it doesn't feel genuine, it's going to come across as insincere or even manipulative.
So no fake compliments, no forced gestures. It has to come from a real place of appreciation.
Absolutely. And another thing to watch out for is getting too caught up in the ranking aspect.
Like constantly comparing your partner to other men.
Yeah. It's not about that. It's about making him feel special to you, like he stands out in his own unique way.
It's about celebrating his individuality, right?
Yeah.
Making him feel like, in your eyes, he's the one.
Exactly. And you know what? This whole conversation brings up a really interesting question.
Ooh, what is it?
If men are so sensitive to this whole ranking signal, what are the signals that women are attuned to? What are the things that make them feel seen, valued, desired?
Wow, that is a great question. It's like the flip side of the coin, right? What makes a woman feel like the catch?
That's a whole other deep dive.
I know. We could talk about this for hours.
But for now, let's stick with what we've learned today about men and this ranking signal.
Okay, sounds good. So just to recap first, we talk about how nonverbal cues are super powerful, right? They shape our impressions and how we feel about each other, especially in those early stages of attraction.
Right. And we learned that men are especially tuned in to how women rank them compared to other men.
It's not about a literal competition, but about feeling valued, admired, chosen.
And finally, we talked about how expressing admiration is so crucial for building strong, fulfilling relationships.
Seeing the best in each other and communicating that appreciation in a way that feels genuine.
It's been a really insightful conversation.
I agree. Before we wrap up, though, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. If men are so sensitive to this ranking signal, what are the signals that women are particularly attuned to? What makes you feel truly seen, valued, desired in a relationship? Take some time to reflect on your own experiences. What are those subtle cues that really make a difference in how you feel about someone? We'll be right back to explore this a little further. Welcome back. So we've been talking about how men are wired to pick up on certain signals, especially when it comes to feeling ranked by women. But it's a two-way street, right? Women have their own set of signals they're looking for.
Exactly. And understanding those signals is just as important for building strong connections.
So let's dive into that.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that make women feel seen, valued, desired? What are the signals that make her feel like the catch?
Well, one thing that comes up again and again is emotional presence.
Emotional presence. Okay, what does that even mean?
It means being truly present with her, not just physically, but emotionally.
So it's more than just listening,
It's about really hearing what she's saying, understanding where she's coming from.
showing empathy.
Yes, creating a space where she feels safe to open up, to be vulnerable without feeling judged.
It's about making her feel seen and heard on a deeper level. Makes sense. What else?
Consistency is huge. Women value reliability and dependability in a partner.
Okay, yeah, knowing they can
That-
count on you, that you'll be there for them.
Exactly. And it's not about being perfect or never messing up. It's about showing up, both physically and emotionally, especially when it matters most.
Being present through thick and thin.
Right. Being
Yeah.
willing to learn and grow together.
Okay, so we've got emotional presence, we've got consistency. What else is important?
Respect is a big one.
Respect, of course. Like respecting her opinions, her intelligence, her individuality.
Exactly. Treating her as an equal partner, valuing her contributions, appreciating her perspective, even when it's different from yours.
And respecting her boundaries.
Absolutely. Creating a dynamic where both partners feel safe, valued, empowered to be themselves.
This is all so insightful. And you know what? I think this applies to all kinds of relationships, not just romantic ones.
Oh, for sure. It's about human connection.
It's about making people feel seen, heard, valued, and respected.
Exactly.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground today. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface of this whole unspoken language of relationships.
It is fascinating, isn't it? And the more we learn about it, the better we can understand ourselves and each other.
And the stronger our connections can be.
Yeah.
So what's the takeaway here? What should our listeners do with all this information?
Keep exploring. Keep paying attention to those subtle cues, both in yourself and in others. Keep the conversation going.
Because communication is key. Right?
Always ask questions, listen deeply, and don't be afraid to share your own needs and desires.
I love that. And on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery.
It's been a pleasure.
And remember, the learning never stops. Keep those conversations flowing, and we'll see you next time.